Hey, Tony from BikeBerry here. After some really good feedback about the friction drive rear-mounted 4-stroke engine, I'm ready to mount it on my brown bike. Let's roll. So first things first, let's look at the bike. We're definitely going to have to remove the rear fender, so I'll have to do that, get rid of that. But then I do have these Schwalbe Fat Frank tires where they're very much a rounded balloon tire, which when you think of the friction drive wheel being this flat with these grooves in it, I just don't know if it's going to have the contact to actually do its job. That's why I'm thinking that these Duro tires would be a better option. They're more flat on the top, and I think then you could get it to actually push down and get really good traction across the entire roller. But we'll start with these rounded balloon tires, see how it goes, and if I need to change them, then I'll order the other ones and get it going. So that's some insight for you. Hey, Precautionary Tony interrupting for 1 second. I got the red shirt on, saying warning. I want to talk about how to use this bicycle engine properly. We have way too many people who want to hop on this, roll the throttle back from a dead stop and expect it to go. It's not designed to be that way. So what you do is you start the engine, you let it warm up properly, you get on the bike and you start to get some miles per hour going, okay? So get cruising just by pedal power, roll that throttle back and enjoy your ride. Never ever just start from a dead stop because you're gonna wear out the drivetrain parts. Those aren't covered under the warranty. So please, use it properly and you'll enjoy it for a really long time. Now back to the programming. Something that may affect you if you have tires like these, then you may need to change them out. Another bit of feedback that I learned from our awesome community is that you have to consider this is a side mounted engine. So the balance on the bike is going to be, towards your left side when you're sitting on it. That means that this kickstand is not going to cut it. So we're going to have to do the bipod kickstand. That way the whole bike sits on two legs, raises the back tire off. It should be much more stable. So that'll be part of the installation also. We'll start with our 8mm Allen. I like to use a swivel on a ratchet. We'll add the 14mm socket. Get this mounted on here the right way. You want to make sure that the way that it kicks back, see, like that, is the way that it gets mounted on here. And we'll test how it works. Boom, nice. And my favorite part about these kickstands is all you have to do is push forward to go. Next up, let's work on getting our tire out of the way so that we can remove our fender and also make sure that the tire is on nice and straight when we mount our engine. Let's focus on removing the rear fender. If your bike has one, you'll have to take it off to mount this engine. So it has these side straps. They're just a couple small bolts. Very simple. Inside of here is a Phillips screw all the way in the end. And then up top here is a Phillips head and hex head screw that has a little nut on the bottom. Easy peasy. Go ahead and put the rear tire back on. So let's assemble the throttle. So you could see that I took the black grip off and I have these wood grained foam grips that were on the bike. So I want to maintain that look, but you can see in the throttle cable, It's attached into the housing, and you just slip this little end of the ball end of the cable in there. Also, you can see that there's this little pin in there. A lot of times people will drill holes in their handlebars to keep this stationary so it won't move. But I tend to use some gaffer's tape or spike tape, and that does a pretty good job. So I don't really want to put holes in the handlebars, but you can. It's totally okay to do. But I'm going to remove that screw. And then we'll put this on there. So it's good to start them out like that, so then you have plenty of slip-on space right here. So let's tape up handlebar. That'll help this area get some grip when it's on there, since I took that screw out. But by all means, if you need to drill a hole and put the screw in there for, you know, to have the confidence that it's going to stay, then just go ahead and do that. Slip this on there. A little test. Looks like it's working. It stops. Perfect. Put the other grip ball on. Well, it's time. Let's get this engine mounted to the friction drive unit so that we can get it mounted on the bike. So we have a spacer. You can tell it has a little lip here that goes inside the engine. So that'll be engine side. Washers, lock washers, Allen bolts. All right, so I got it this way so you can see all the layers, okay? So first what we'll do is we'll put our spacer on. Remember that lip side towards the engine, just like that. Then, so this is the bottom of the engine, so this is the part that goes towards the ground, towards the tire. So we want to do the open side of the friction drive unit, right like that. Okay, just to double check, you want to make sure at the top of the engine, this is the top, at the top of the plate, that's all the correct orientation. Bottom of the engine with the open friction drive wheel. You can see that I got one bolt in here. You're going to assemble, take one of these bolts, a lock washer, and a regular washer. You're going to put it in the hole over here. There's 4 holes. Kind of wiggle it back and forth until you get it started. You don't want to cross thread anything. And we'll take the next bolt, lock washer, flat washer, and put it back here. And wiggle things back and forth as you start the threads. There you go. There you go. Back. In the back here, there's another hole. Yep. I would just go as finger tight as you can as possible in the beginning. That'll help ensure that you're not cross-threading anything. 5mm socket. Tighten everything down. Just go snug and kind of bounce around. I always go opposite, because then you know something will seat down properly. Just like tuning drums or anything like that. Like on a drum set, you tune the heads, you go crisscross. Okay, so snug. Yep, do some final snug. And then as I'm kind of figuring out the rest of the pieces and parts, I'll come back and do it again, because once it's on the bike you can't really access this. Yep, I feel good about that. All right, so just to get it mounted on the bike only requires this bracket and these 2 long brackets. You could see this cam lever kind of attachment, and then these blocks. They have little raised edges on them. That's what grabs a hold of these straps and mounts right there for the rear stays. Then the front of it here gets mounted in through the holes there, while this part gets mounted to the frame back here. Let's do a test fit of the engine just to kind of see where our bracket needs to be. So if we look here, kind of see that this area here is where we decide where our bracket goes. Looks like if we're in there, we should be good. Let's do that. Well, you can see that we got 3 nice big bolts here. So we're going to basically mount this guy like that, right under the seat. So for now, you just want it about that tight where you can slide it and move it around. That way you can get it adjusted properly. It seems like to get it level and to get that roller to press on the tire appropriately, looks like we're in that middle hole. Slide the bolt in. Place a block in. Like that. Now the goal here is to evenly tighten everything all the way across. You got 3 bolts here that really need equal tension so that it clamps hard down on those tubes nice and even, and then it won't slip. So you're going to go back and forth and just check the tightness and adjust it as necessary. Let's look at some alignment necessities. Okay, you can see that this wheel needs to sit perfectly over the rear tire, right? And it needs to sit pretty level, which so far has been pretty easy to do. Okay, you just don't want any of this stuff, these bolts or anything like that, to rub on there. You want the whole engine to sit pretty level. That way the gas works, the oil works. You know, everything works as the engine should. So yeah, look at that. All right, let's get these straps on here. It has this long slot that's going to go right here, and the other side right here. Look closely at this. So you have this whole option or this whole option. Now the strap is only as long as it is, right? Fits most applications. But what I noticed is because of how tall my tire is, that it's made the holes here, I'm about here instead of here. Okay, so I'm going to drill a hole here, and then that will go onto my axle. Because as you can see, if I went to that hole here, it's just shy of the top of this. Okay, so that means I'll drill a hole, bring it up to there, then it'll be perfect. Dust on that. Once that I see that this is going to line up with the hole, okay, so we can nail it down to that, then we'll go down here and tighten this up. Now we'll focus on loosening up this side and getting it mounted into this hole straight across. Okay, now we're going to mount it in the very last hole that I drilled. Well, now that you've got enough thread in here, there's enough thread in here, and there's enough thread in there, then you know everything will be good. That's when you go in and tighten these two. Okay. Now everything is tight, and you can tighten or loosen this and get the adjustment that you need on your tire. So if you need to go up, you can go up and latch it. Or if you need to go down, you can go down and latch it. Seems like there's a pretty good amount of grip. We'll see. All right, we got everything connected. We've double checked that everything's tight here and here and here, and on your axles there's adjustability, as we already saw. You can undo the latch, adjust it. I think everything's good. Now all we got to do is connect our throttle and our kill switch wires. So if you look straight down at the engine, I'm going to put it right in here and run it along this way, down through, and then under here, and come out on this side and run it. I tend to tie things down kind of back to front. That way your excess can be around the handlebars. Not too close to the bend. You want your bends to be soft. So now you can see that there's black and red and black and green. Just make sure the blacks go together. I like to keep a chunk of loom around just to do stretches of wire like this that need it. Well, that's pretty much it. All the hardware that I needed was included in the kit, so I didn't have to find extra bolts or anything. All I had to do was drill an extra hole, so that wasn't a big deal. Other than that, everything's right here, mounted. There's wires to the front, but that's it. A lot less involved than all the other engines that sit within the frame. I'm pretty excited to try it out. All right, Precautionary Tony coming back at you one last time. Now that you got the bike together, everything's working good, we want you to use it properly. And the proper way to use it is start that engine, let it warm up, hop on the bike, pedal, get some RPMs going. Come on, let's go, right? Roll that throttle back and enjoy the ride. Never, ever, never, and I mean never, get the engine started, hop on it, roll the throttle back from a dead stop. You may go once or twice, but you're gonna trash the whole drive system in that engine, and that's not covered under the warranty. We want you to enjoy this engine for a long time on your bicycle, so you gotta use it properly. Thank you very much, and let's roll. I'm excited for another addition to the 4-stroke family. We're going to build them up this summer. We're going to do a lot of 4-stroke content, so be on the lookout. The Switz Cruise will even be something you'll be able to check out. I've been working on a lot of things with it. But the next time you see this guy is I'm going to get some oil in it, get some gas in it. We're going to go through the startup procedure and then any fine tuning or adjustments that we have to make. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and any questions or comments or insights that you have on your friction build, let me know in the comments below. Let's roll.